Hello, good afternoon. Today, my presentation will be about addressing underperformance at Amero Tech in Beaufort, Georgia. My name is Taukarri Hilton. This is the Leadership and Organization Management 605 class with Professor Michael Crawford. First things first, the company overview. Amero Tech is a global leader in conveyor and process belting solutions operating in about 150 countries. It employs over 3,000 people globally. It operates 10 manufacturing sites worldwide and numerous sales and fabrication centers. In 2021, the company announced a $19 million investment to open a manufacturing plant in Beaufort, Georgia, creating over 83 jobs within the city. The Beaufort plant produced a full range of synthetic conveyor belts and strengthened the company's U.S. presence. This plant also operates off of three shifts, Monday through Friday, to produce 12 to 20 conveyor belts per week. Choosing underperforming dimensions. While Amero emphasizes responsibility as a core company value, there are limited and available evidence of strong, proactive environmental or community engagement specific to Beaufort facility. The company's value includes responsibility, transparency, and acting ethically as a good corporate citizen. However, there is a gap between those stated values and visibilities. Document documented metrics in environmental sustainability or local community programs within Georgia. Thus, the dimensions of social responsibility and environmental stewardship, community engagement appears to be underutilized and underdeveloped for this site, which may open a risk in the stakeholders critiquing. Major issues and effects. Well, the major issues, I would say, just the weak communication within the community and the environmental engagement around the Beaufort operation, lacking visibility programs like local partnerships, sustainability reporting, environmental investments, and community outreach. The current effects and ramifications are, I would say, the local community might perceive the plant as a um, polluter or an external outsider rather than contributing partner and partnering with other businesses within the area. The negative perception could hinder local support, create a suspicion, or just generate um, the residents not liking the business. It may make recruiting and retaining talent harder if the employees expect a company to engage ethically with its surrounding areas. And then also, I would say just missing opportunities for positive brand duration, being seen as a good neighbor overall. The consequences of failure: loss of goodwill in the local community, tied into possible protests, and also stricter permit conditions. Damage to brand and reputation, especially among customers who value sustainability, leading to lost contracts or being de-preferred. Difficulty in recruiting employees who prioritize working for environmental and social responsible companies. Also, financial costs, fines, remediation, reputational loss, and reduce of sales overall. In the long run, lagging behind competitors who integrate sustainability as part of their value proposition. Organizational structure, design, and culture. Well, one, I want to talk about structure and design. As part of a mega group, decisions may be centralized at a higher corporate level, with local plants having limited automation decision making. The expansion in the US is part of a larger investment plan within the Omega company. Omega committed $100 million across the American operation, including the Beaufort facility, to strengthen local manufacturing and service capabilities. Culture and values at Amero Beltec publicize states which values include customer centricity, people focus, entrepreneurship, agility, and responsibility. However, in practice, employee reviews suggest issues around management, culture, and communication. For instance, on Indeed, Amero has a 3.0 out of 5 stars, with criticisms about management, lack of growth clarity, and cultural challenges that may be difficult on everyday employees. There may be a cultural emphasis on production efficiency and meeting quantitative metrics, which can overshadow softer dimensions like corporate citizenship or community engagement. The influence of structure and culture. If decision making is centralized, local facilities may have limited power to launch community or environmental initiatives that slows responsiveness and superness local innovations. A culture that emphasizes efficiency through throughput and cost control may deprioritize investments in soft areas, community environments, because they appear less directly tied to short term financial metrics. A gap between stated values, responsibilities, and actual behavior erodes credibility internally. Employees may see CSR as merely rhetoric. If local plants leadership lacks the alignment with the community goals, the initiatives will stall. Culture of production first may reside to allocate resources or time or non core operational tasks like outreach, sustainability, and initiatives. Conscious culture and management at Amero. The conscious culture and management, I would say, a philosophy from conscious capitalism lecture where companies prioritize purpose, stakeholders, not just shareholders, transparency, ethical behavior, and a culture of care. How Merrill aligns and misaligns. I would say it aligned the company publicly and the exposed responsibility, the ethics, and transparency as values. The misalignment is the lack of visibility, measurable CSR programs, and local context suggestions that values may not always translate into actions over time. Adopting a more conscious management approach, giving the business a resource to social responsibility, engagement, local and stakeholders, and I would say just community metrics could help close the gap and enhance the internal and external trust and long term sustainability within the company and make it an overall better culture and company to work for. I would say my Cotter's 8 step model uh, is to create urgency by using data, commission local surveys benchmark to show gaps between expectations and the Merrill's actions, form guiding, which would create a cross functional team that includes stakeholders or external advisors, create a vision and strategy board, the vision of Buford facility as a trusted, responsible community partner, and strategize specifically on the pillars environmental stewardship, community partnership, and transparency. Communicate the vision. Internally, communicate, have meetings, and engage with your local community, press, forums, and local organizations. Empower broad based actions which will delegate authorities for community and sustainability projects, generate short term wins, quick visibility projects, publicize this internally and externally as it would generate just wins overall, consolidate gains and proceed more change, use momentum to expand initiatives, more environmental monitoring, school partnerships, local internships, reinforced by including CSR goals into border performance metrics. And I would say also the new approaches in culture overall, embed into values, onboarding, plant rituals, communicate success stories and lessons continually, and make CSR community engagement part of performance reviews as you would gain an overall better work environment. The challenges and how to manage them. Potentially challenges are the residents from management or corporate, the cost of the ROI concerns. I would say overextended resources, time and money, balancing production demands with CSR projects. Mitigation and plans begin with plot small scale projects to prove value, use the metrics and early wins to build credibility, engage with your stakeholders, employees, community, and local government early, and just overall communicate and build transparency and trust within the community. Align CSR projects with business objectives. Realigning subsystems. You can realign by having HR staffing and training, reward and performance, operation and manufacturing, marketing and communications, information systems and metrics, and leadership and decision making. These all will realign and sustain all of your subsystems into play with the company currently. I would say my lessons learned and main general strategies was lessons learned are, the stated values are insufficient. The culture and systems must back them up. Early stakeholder engagement mitigates resistance. Plot programs help build momentum and credibility. Real change requires systematic alignment, not just individual initiatives. Strategies I would avoid being overly perspective from top to down without input. Launching grand projects before smaller wins is an automatic risk of failures. Ignoring distance or feedback, shutting down everything. I would try to avoid all of those things as much as possible. Strategies I would embrace transparent communication and accountability, empowering local leadership and ownership, embedding CSR into core performance systems, not as add ons. Use data and metrics to guide and adjust efforts at all times. And then here are all of my references that I used to source all of my information for Amero Beltec in Beaufort, Georgia. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.